Thank you, sir, and welcome to the Monday working session of the Garrard County Board of Education. And I'd like to read our mission statement, and it says, the Garrard County Board of Education is responsible stewards of the resources entrusted to us, affirming the dignity and value of all children of our community will provide all children an education which enables them to graduate college and career ready and to become successful, productive citizens in a global society. This time, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please note that 3 board members are present at this time, and the superintendent. If you would, join me for a moment of silence. Thank you very much. You can stand. You say the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. You may be seated. All right. Item C is to have a motion.
Make a motion. We adopt the agenda.
Mr. McMurray made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second it.
Barry Adrian made the second. All in favor, let it be known by uplifted hand. All Item number 2 on the agenda is whoa, wait a minute. I'm on the wrong one.
Yep. But you're good.
Is to review, I was on the Thursday night session, is to review the regular meeting agenda items. So,
I think you were on the wrong agenda, but that might adopt another agenda. Let's say you were on the right, the rest of us were on the right page.
We didn't know anything would be different.
Chairman wasn't.
I think it'll be okay. So if there are anything that you have questions about that I jump over, just ask me to go back. Under the recognition section, we'll be recognizing those people who have helped us with recognition this year. We will also be recognizing Emma Lawrence for her state championships. So that was an ad we were able to make last week, and we're thankful because we believe she'll be in Boston in August. So this will be our one lone chance to do that. So we look forward to that opportunity. You have the SBDM minutes that you've been able to review. As of this afternoon, I'm not aware of audience comments, but we will let you know if that changes in any fashion. We've provided you with the changes to personnel since the June meeting that you can go in and take a look at. On Thursday, we'll be asking you to approve the annual determination letter that has been received, or not asking you to approve it, asking you to review it. And it'll be great news. We'll share it again on Thursday, but Garrard County schools met every area of the annual determination, and that's something to be praised from Wendy Congleton and her entire staff. You can't do that without the teachers who make a lot of things happen, instructional aides who make a lot of things happen, her staff. So congratulations to you. She sent something out to her staff the other day. We were able to follow up with that, but that's an impressive accomplishment on their part. We'll also have the annual data security update from Chris Lang. This is a yearly piece, and we'll do that under the communications component. Under reports, as of today, we still have not received the bond potential update, but we expect that we will have that. We have bills as presented, but we won't have to do that this go around because we're so early in the year, and we had received permission from you all previously to cover some stuff that way. And then we'll look at the treasurer's report. I've printed that for you today. Lots of work on Stacy's part today to make that happen, so we appreciate that. And she's here to kind of walk you through that report tonight.
Okay, so June 30th, our ending cash balance was
$87,991. And that is up by $324,187 when compared to last year. Our general fund cash balance was $3,845,290, and that's an increase of approximately $560,000. And that can be attributed to the COVID relief funds that we received earlier. Special revenue fund has a negative balance of $567,121. We have a reimbursement request in that we will get the month of July for over $650,000, so that'll cover that. Our school activity cash balance is $288,719, and since this wasn't required to be presented last year, that's the reason for that variance. And our construction fund cash balance is $254,963, and that's down by approximately $114,000 compared to last year, and that's a result of the projects that we had in place in fiscal year 21. Our food service cash balance was $592,970, and that's down approximately $263,000 when compared to prior year, and that coincides with our spending plan. So the other funds I didn't touch on, there was minimal changes in the ending balance when we compared to last year. And then you also have your monthly financial report, which kind of goes into a little bit more detail by fund. You can look at the revenues and expenditures.
Any questions?
Got a question? Trust fund. That money has been there for a good little while, hasn't it? Trust fund?
Mhm.
Can it be used?
We are using it, but the initial bequest, some of it, the money has to stay. So there's several that, there's $20,000 balance, but you can only spend the interest. So that's why that's so high.
Okay, so that's a very small amount each year.
Yes.
And it usually, would you say it grows each year or goes down a little or?
It usually stays about the same. We get donations in, or not donations, we
So
get contributions
It's
in.
probably listed as an asset, but it's really not an asset because you can't spend it.
Well, it's listed as our, as our cash balance.
So that's money we have that we can't really use for anything else and can't use it for a whole lot anyway because I understand it was tied up for specifics. That's why it can't be used.
It's because whoever, the donor or whoever set up the trust fund set aside so much money, and that's how it was written in. So if they gave $20,000, you can only use the interest. So, I mean, it was based
That's what I'm
on,
saying. It's tied up in such a way as it'd be there forever.
yes, some of it.
More or less. I mean, that's a generalized question and that's just clarifying it.
So we received $7,600 in contributions this year, and we spent out $9,000. So that's
Well,
about average of what we do.
But still pretty good. All right, thank you.
Anybody else?
Sorry I'm late, and I apologize for my tire. I just got off working, and to be honest with you, I forgot it.
Put yourself on report.
I did that. I'll be more than happy to.
Okay,
All right, we'll move on into the consent agenda. On the consent agenda for this month, you have the minutes from the previous meetings. You had 3 in June. One was the special session where you interviewed architects. One was the regular session, and then immediately following that was the District Finance Corporation meeting. The treasurer's report that you just heard, we'll ask for approval on. We'll ask you to approve Ron Flannery for Red Book training. We'll ask you to approve the funding assurances for the 2021-2022 school year, and we've posted those for your review. And we'll ask you to approve the American Rescue Plan ESSER assurances, which is ESSER 3. All of those things except the ESSER 3 are items that you kind of do on an annual basis. At ESSER 3, that will be the 3rd time that you've done something along that line saying that we'll comply with what we're supposed to comply with. Any questions you have on the consent agenda?
Okay, item number 5 is the action agenda, Mr. Truitt.
We'll ask you to approve the second reading of the KSBA policy updates. Any questions on that area? Happy to address. We'll ask you to approve the Head Start contract for the 2021-2022 school year. And it is the same contract that we had for the 2021 school year, which means no changes. We'll ask you to allow us to add the May 17th primary election as a non-school day to the school calendar. It was an oversight on our part. We approved this calendar, and I think we compared it against this school year that we just completed, and there wasn't a primary election, and we just neglected to add that, so we need to go back and make that change. It will change the ending of school by 1 day, and it's still inside of May. We'll ask for an approval of the school's master schedule, hours and minutes. Each school is required in the state to do 1,062 hours. All of our schools will be over by at least 10 hours, and in a couple of cases, about 20 hours. We'll ask for an approval of pay application number 8 on the Garrard middle school door project. These are now the interior doors. This project now is rolling into kind of its second year, but we knew that we had to extend this timeline. And so this is for work completed. It's $11,850.
Will it be completed by the time school starts?
That's our belief. So particularly with students starting a little bit later, it gave us a couple of extra weeks. So we were very optimistic. We'll ask you to approve the use of emergency certified substitute teachers. These are teachers or individuals that we would use who do not have a certificate. This is an annual requirement. KDE will not allow us to use these individuals without your approval. And this time next year, we'll ask you to approve this again. It allows us to have a few more subs, and those, as you know, are prime commodities today. I'll ask you to approve a Medicaid coordinator position. We've attached a job description for that. It's a $5,000 stipend that will come out of IDEA funds, but it will return just under $13,000 to IDEA this year by moving that direction. We'll ask you to approve an individual instructional assistant with medical background for a one-on-one assistance for a 6th grade student. We won't go into a lot of detail, but this is a recommendation based on information we've received from Vanderbilt University, the primary care physician, our nurse supervisor, and then the ARC. So this is the right thing for us to do for this child, to get this child back in school with us.
So you know for sure the child's going to be coming?
As of today, we know the child for sure is coming. We can't guarantee the length of time, but that's okay. We'll discuss, or we can discuss today too, if you'd like. You have a couple of options on the contract. You could write a contract that said that if we no longer needed to provide services because the child was no longer here, that we could terminate the contract, or you can include in the contract, in order to make sure that individual remained employed, that their job description could be changed if that student was no longer here. We did talk with the attorneys about that to make sure that that was a legal thing for us to do. And I think in some of our discussions the other day, the thought was maybe what we need to do is make sure we employ this person for a longer period of time to ensure that we have somebody who would be interested in working. So we have
I
options.
think that would be a good idea
Yeah, me
to
too.
employ them for a longer period of time. And additionally, they could fill in classrooms whenever additional teachers aren't there, or in whatever specific services we require.
And I don't think you'll have any pushback from us on that. It's just this way we've known about it up front, and there's no surprise. So, and hopefully the child comes all year and we get to use the aid for that purpose. So it's not trying to circumvent anything, it's just to make sure that everyone's aware because of the specificity of this particular need.
It opens for more people to be interested in the position, if they know they're gonna have full employment.
And all board members are now present.
Don't feel bad, I just beat you by half a minute.
You're not a new schedule, but I'll get there.
Oh, by the way, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
Following that, we'll do an update from Sherman Carter Barnhart. They will be walking through the process to help you think through whether you want to utilize a construction manager or a general contractor. Our expectation of them is to share information, not to give you their opinion and allow you to make that decision. Should you want to, we've left a spot in the agenda for you to make a decision following that. Should you choose not to, at that point, you can simply table that item and wait for another occasion to do that. My recommendation is you leave this in as a possibility in case at the end of their presentation, 5 of you say, I know exactly how I'd like to go. And if you don't, then again, we can table it.
So it'd probably be good to wait for discussion after he makes his presentation.
Yes, sir. And the final item is a consideration of going into an executive session to discuss potential land acquisition. Obviously, we want to talk about any of that here, but if everyone is comfortable with doing that on that last item, then we'll recommend that you go into an executive session to have a discussion around that potential topic. And once you do that, we'll recommend an adjournment.
Wow.
You're just in time.
And you got everything?
For the good stuff.
All right, well, do I have a motion?
Yeah, they have to make the motions.
Yep.
Mike and I were.
Okay, I make a motion to adjourn.
We've already done our job.
Coach Hurt made the motion, the second and the most adjourn. All in favor, let me know up with your hand. Consider ourselves adjourned. Wow, my wife's gonna be shocked.
Again, I apologize.
As do I.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
it's the best of it.
Yeah.
So what, your new